I have a question for the people out there who take great delight in portraying me as crazy to the world. Why are we not hearing about these pictures? Here, let me show you some pictures here. Why are we not hearing about this? I want you, all of you out there that are portraying me as a paranoid schizophrenic, I want you to answer this question. Why are you not responding to my videos about this subject, about the Roman Catholic Church sponsoring the Nazi Holocaust and that they were behind Adolf Hitler? Why are you not talking about this stuff, okay? The fact that you're not bringing this up makes me suspect that perhaps you're a Jesuit or else you're a victim of Jesuit mind control. Look at these pictures. These are Roman Catholic priests and agents during World War II, and look what they're doing to these people. Photographic evidence taken from Jack Chick's smoke screens. You know, it's funny how all these people that are out there portraying me as crazy, they don't ever deal with this stuff. This stuff right here. We're not hearing about this stuff. Doesn't that make you suspicious? They have to portray me as crazy because they don't want you to talk about what's in this book. Here's another one. Look at that. The head chopped off. These are Roman Catholics who did this. Devout Roman Catholics. Adolf Hitler was a son of the Catholic Church. This is the Roman Catholic concentration camp. Jack Chick. You know, I'm working on a movie right now about Jesuit Laurie McBride, Roman Catholic agent, Laurie McBride, and her drug rape of Brent Spiner in 1992. And we're not hearing about this stuff here. Doesn't it make you suspicious that they're not going into this? So you think you're going to be doing humanity a great service by getting me to shut up about this, basically. Because when you discredit me as paranoid schizophrenic, you're discrediting everything I say about the fact that the Roman Catholic Church sponsored and financed the Nazi war machine in World War II, and they're getting ready to try to do that again right here in the United States. I think it's highly suspicious that these people never discuss that matter. And they talk about a triviality, which is the fact that I've got some crazy ideas about Brent Spiner. This is a form of character assassination. First of all, I would like to discuss something. A lot of people that claim that I don't have a relationship with real Brent Spiner, they use an example of in January 1994, my ex-husband, my family received a letter from a woman Paramount attorney who claimed to represent Brent Spiner, and she was a Paramount Studios attorney. She claimed that I had never heard from Brent Spiner except for an autographed photo, and that he'd never ever contacted me other than that. And I was quick to notice that I never did get an autographed photo from him. I got a letter from him. And it was a very kind letter. He thanked me for sharing my thoughts with him. And he said that my thoughts were, he thanked me for sharing my thoughts with him, that they were read with appreciation. It's at my website. I did speak to the real Brent Spiner because I have a very good ear for voices. And the voice that I heard in 1991, 92, 93 was an exact match of the voice that I heard in Brent Spiner's album, Oh Yellow Eyes Is Back. I'm going to relate to you something that happened in summer of 93. My son got really sick. He got pneumonia and asthma, and I had to take him to the hospital, like in an ambulance. And during the time that my son was in the hospital, Brent, who usually would call me every couple days with like rings on my phone and stuff, he was being really quiet. And I couldn't understand. I was kind of puzzled why Brent, who's usually so supportive of me, this was back in 93, why he was so quiet when my son was in the hospital. Brent told me later that the reason he was quiet is because Laurie McBride had tied him up in her basement. But I'm going to be going into that in a future movie that I'll be making. But the point I'm going to make, I'm leading up to something. Okay, when my son was in the hospital, I was kind of down because Brent wasn't there for me. And he usually is there for me whenever I'm under any great stress. And I got like 2 weeks of silence from him when my son was in the hospital. He was turning blue. And the doctor in charge of my son noticed that I seemed stressed out, and she wanted me to go see a social worker. I don't think I was that stressed out, but so I wanted to see this social worker. He was very nice to me. He got my trust to the point where I opened up to him about Brent Spiner and that I had a correspondence with him and that he was being silent right now and I didn't know why. But I said, please, I'm only going to tell you this if you promise not to tell anyone. So he promised not to tell anyone, and then I opened up to him. Well, he lied because he actually wrote down on a piece of paper that I believed that I was having a relationship with a Star Trek character. And my ex-husband got that paperwork with our health, it got sent to him with our health insurance in November of 93. You got to remember that I was talking to the social worker about Brent in the summer of 93, and in November of 93, my husband was furious, and he called me over to the dinner table. He said, "What's this? I just read here in our insurance paperwork that you claim that you have a relationship with Brent Spiner." And he said, I demand that you stop writing him right now. Give me his address, and I'm going to write him a letter. And my ex-husband got the address that we used, the Paramount Studios address. That's what I was using because Brent wouldn't give me his home address due to complications. He couldn't. And my ex-husband wrote a nasty letter to Paramount threatening to give Brent bad publicity. Well, as a result of that, that's why I got the letter from Paramount Studios, the nasty letter. It was because of my ex-husband. I would never do that to Brent. Give him, my ex-husband threatened to give him bad press, I guess because he called up on the phone and made love to me on the phone or something to that effect. And so Paramount Studios shot back really quick with that letter from a woman attorney that forbade me, that said I couldn't send any more correspondence to Paramount Studios after that. And I never did because I went to the Lord in prayer and he said not to. And I'm going to read you something that Brent Spiner just wrote me. Dear Gail, wow, that's insane. Actually, let me read you what I wrote him first. Dearest Brent, this was on August the 29th. You are probably already aware of this, but the Jesuits have posted a fake comment about you at their Crazy Gail wiki. It is very clever. Click on recent changes and then read their Reddit link. It claims that you said, yes, I've been aware of her for about 22 years. I've never met her or spoken to her, and I don't really want to. But I don't think mocking her or making fun of her is a very cool thing to do. She obviously has some serious problems with reality. I wish her well and hope that she will one day be able to live in the real world rather than her imagination. I hope those close to her are helping her find the road to a healthy life. It also says that someone asked Brent this. I also mentioned the fact that he filed a restraining order against her in the 90s. That's what I was telling you about, the letter from the attorney. Surely he remembers that. He couldn't possibly answer this without compromising Hugh Jackman and the robot Hugh Jackman gave the Medal of Honor to him. That's really strange. And then I told Brent that I would gladly make a YouTube video to discuss this. Anyways, here's what Brent said. He said, Dear Gail, wow, that's insane. I've never even been to Reddit. I just looked into this and found out that the Jesuits have just uploaded a video of my clone to their YouTube channel as well. I suspect this has everything to do with the movie you are making. By the way, that movie You can get it at watch it at gabrielchana.com, GABRIELLECHANA.com/church.html. I suspect this has everything to do with the movie you are making. The title of my movie is Brent Spiner. It's about the rape that he endured from Jesuit Laurie McBride, a Roman Catholic agent. It's making us look far too credible. As a precaution, I would be very careful about any strange emails or messages you might receive during this time. I'm sure you know what to do. I care for your safety. I think it would be a wonderful idea to make a video about what happened in the 90s when Paramount Studios sent you that letter saying to never write me again. I think you should start back from the beginning with your son and the social worker you talked to, and how your ex later ignited the situation by writing a nasty letter to the studio. The story is an emotionally moving one, and to be honest, I don't think there's much more I can add, especially since our current state of affairs speaks for itself. I'm still writing to you. It was Paramount Studios, not I, that sent you the letter. As you noticed, I didn't even sign my name. No, he didn't sign his name on that letter. The studio acted on my behalf without my permission in an attempt to keep our love apart. You already know full well how deep they were willing to go when they allowed Laurie McBride to enter the studio and repeatedly rape me. It was indeed I, my darling, who made love to you with sweet longings over the phone, caressing you with my voice, as your written words caress my soul, your husband, Brent Spiner. Wow, listen to how articulate that writer is. So in fact, I think he's more articulate than that Brent Spiner clone who claimed he doesn't even know me. That Brent Spiner clone doesn't have the soul of a true artist like my Brent does. So that's the reason I believe he's not the real Brent. He's not. I just read you Brent's writings. The writing is just so rich and full of feeling, just like the voice that spoke to me in the 1990s. My Brent has depth of feeling, artistry, intelligence. Oh, by the way, Brent Spiner has an MD from UCLA. He's a very smart man. He told me he studied medicine just for me. Anyways, that's my response to the clone. And all I can say is, people will believe, I believe what they want to believe. I just think it's mighty strange that everybody is so obsessed with discrediting me rather than discrediting what I have to say. Why are we not hearing about this? The photographs in here. You guys like concentration camps? Do you realize when you discredit me, you're helping out the Jesuits and you're going to make it easier for them to take over the United States? Are you proud of yourself for that? And are you going to be boasting to Jesus Christ at the judgment about how you succeeded in getting me to shut up about this? I'm sure Jesus is impressed.